Hey guys, so today is Monday, so you know what time it is. It is time for the Premier League season is among us in a week. So I have decided what better way to celebrate the Premier League returning by doing a Premier League roundtable, or as I like to call it, my Premier League predictions. Let's begin. So as you know, there are 20 teams in the Premier League. So we're going to start with 20th. In 20th place, I have predicted Cardiff City. Now, to be honest, it is pretty self-explanatory. They haven't really signed any top-notch players in the transfer market. To be honest, I don't really know if they have signed anyone in the transfer market. And the transfer market closes in a few days. And I think that's the same problem they had when they came up last time. They signed not many players. I think they signed like Jordan Much or something. That's about it. And then they went down straight away. And in order to compete in this league, you got to sign players. So number 20, I have gone with Cardiff City. Number 19, I've gone with newly promoted team again, Fulham. Now, other than Ryan Sessegnon, Fulham haven't really signed any upper echelon players or players that really have that world-class status quo, and Sessegnon doesn't really either. But we know of his potential that he had. I think it was Nice, and he's going to show that now in the Premier League, and I think that's a great signing. But once again, they haven't really signed any top-notch players that I think can do the job. So number 18th is Fulham. Now 18th is a bit of a controversial one, but I've gone with Southampton. Now my reasons are for this because they narrowly escaped relegation last season, and they basically kept the same squad. They haven't really added to their team much, and I feel like this is the year where they will go down because all the teams that are really competing have signed players. So like West Ham and Watford, they've all signed players. Well, Watford not so much, but they've signed players to compete with, whereas Southampton haven't. So yeah, my next prediction is 18th, Southampton. Now we leave the relegation zone. We go on to 17th, who I think will narrowly escape relegation. For me, I've gone with the brothers from the south, Southampton's arch rivals, AFC Bournemouth. Now, AFC Bournemouth, as we know, have been in the Premier League for 2 or 3 seasons now. Smallest club in the Premier League, were bankrupt a few years before they got promoted, and have the smallest stadium in the Premier League. Now, what I think they're going to do, they haven't really signed anyone again, so that makes my point. And I think this season will be the season where they finally go down. So yeah, 17th is Bournemouth. 16th we have Wolves. Now I think Wolves will stay up, and I think we'll be close between 16th and 20th by about 3 or 4 points. But I think Wolves will stay up because they've signed Ruben Neves, who's a promising young CDM that they got from FC Porto, and he is young. Great player for the future. They've got Rui Patricio, again a world-class signing from Sporting Lisbon, another great player. I don't know what their mentality is with Portuguese players, but they finished it off with João Moutinho from AS Monaco, and I think those signings will put the icing on the cake and will keep the Wolves up. 15th, we have Watford, pretty self-explanatory. I think they're always going to be in those areas for a few years, really. Their squad is good enough to stay in the Premier League, so I feel that they will stay in the Premier League, but they will be coming 15th, so Watford to come 15th. And in 14th, Crystal Palace, they've gone down the rails a bit now, but I feel 14th is a very good prediction for me, and a very fair one, as yeah, they haven't really signed many players, but they've managed to keep hold of Zaha. So obviously I think with Zaha and Benteke still at the club, I mean Benteke isn't really that good of a striker, but with him still there, I still think they'll keep up. But if Zaha gets sold, I think my prediction will change. But so far, Crystal Palace to come 14th. 13th, I've got Huddersfield Town. They've kept Moy. Moy has been influential to them staying up, to be honest. Great player. That's not really the reason why. I think Deportois is good too. If he can get more game time. And their all-round squad is a pretty decent squad for them to stay up. So yeah, 13th is Huddersfield Town. And in 12th place, we've got Leicester. I think that's a fair spot. They've lost Riyad Mahrez to City. And yeah, they've kept Harry Maguire. So yeah, 12th Leicester. 11th, we've got Brighton and Hove. They've kept Matt Ryan, who didn't really have the best World Cup, but as we can tell, was an influential part of them staying up in the Premier League last season. And they've got a decent squad as well that I feel can, now that they've gotten that Premier League experience, can now compete with the top 10 spots in the Premier League. I wouldn't say anything above 7th, but 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, they can definitely stay around that vicinity. So yeah, 11th is Brighton and Hove Albion. And in 10th, we have Newcastle United. I feel that they will stay in the Premier League from now on because they've gotten that inspiration, and yeah, I just feel like they will stay in the Premier League. I think 10th is a reasonable place to put them, and I know they haven't really made that many signings, but I feel that the squad they have is good enough. They sold Mitrovic to Fulham as well, so we'll see how that affects them. But yeah, 10th is Newcastle. Now, for some reason, West Ham always seem to underperform. I'm putting them 9th because of their signings. They've signed Felipe Anderson, an absolute tank in FIFA, an absolute tank for Lazio, Yarmolenko from Dortmund, and Jack Wilshere, 3 big players, 3 massive players that will help the squad very well. And I think that front three of Felipe Anderson, Yarmolenko, and Chikorito will really help in them scoring goals and cementing their spot in the top 10 in the Premier League. So I've got West Ham to come 9th. In 8th place, I've gone with Burnley. That, of course, depends if they make Europa League. If they make Europa League, I feel like it'll be hard for them to balance both Europe and Premier League because they've never really done it before. But I feel like their team is strong enough to not really go really down that bad. I feel like 8th is good, and they will try and go as far as they can in Europa League. But I feel they'll get knocked out in the group stage, and they'll have to focus on the league. But because the Europa League is quite a very long tournament, even though it's got the same amount of groups as teams as Champions League, there's still about 6 weeks that they have to play if for the group stage anyway, and that's 6 weeks that could really change where you are on the table. And I feel that 8th is a good spot. So for 8th, I've gone with Bournemouth. In 7th place, I've gone with Everton. I feel that the signing of Richarlison will really help them become a better team because he's a great player. And this will also give Tosun, the Turkish striker, a full season to play in the Premier League. And I feel that with Burnley going into Europa League, that gives Everton a chance to go high up into the pecking order and jump Burnley and come 7th, and also hopefully get a spot in the Europa League. So yeah, 7th Everton. 6th place, I've gone with Chelsea Football Club. Now, the reason I've gone with Chelsea, they haven't really made that many important signings, to be honest. They'll be in the Europa League, so that's obviously going to drag them down, because as we saw Chelsea and Arsenal, they were really competing. When they were always in Europa League, they're always competing to win it, because that's so they can get back into Champions League again and get back their glory days. And I feel like that's what's going to happen to Chelsea. They're going to try and win it, and I feel that they'll stumble on the quarters or semis, and they'll ultimately affect their season, and they'll finish 6th. And this also gives Sarri, the new coach, a new season to impress the boys. So yeah, 6th is Chelsea. Okay, in 5th spot, we're going with Manchester United. I just don't feel like their demeanour is up to scratch at the moment. They've only signed Fred, really, who I feel like it's a good signing, but won't really boost the squad, and I feel that 5th is a good place to put them. In 4th, I've gone with Tottenham Hotspur. Once again, haven't signed anyone, but they have a good enough squad to finish in the top 4. In 3rd, I've gone with Arsenal because of their recent signings. Socrates is a good signing. Bernard Leno as well. And some of the young French dudes as well. Good signings for them. And I feel that they'll finally get back in that Champions League spot, especially with that new installment of Socrates. Now, 2nd, I've gone with Manchester City because I've got Riyad Mahrez. And I feel that Liverpool, who I tipped first, you're going to say, oh, why did you tip Liverpool? They're your team. Yes, but the way that we played in pre-season, the signings we've made, Shaqiri, Keita, Fabinho, and we've got so much squad depth now, which is what we were lacking. I think we either win the Premier League or the Champions League. Yes, but we always beat City every time we verse them, and I feel that the results that we're going to get against those teams and against City will ultimately change the way that the Premier League looks. So yeah, those are my Premier League predictions. Let me know your predictions in the comments below. Also, do like this jersey. It's Al Ahly, the Egyptian team. Huge shout out to my friend Anthony for getting me the Al Ahly jersey in Egypt. I asked him for any jersey and he got me this one. Very nice jersey. Also a big shout out to Ruby, cool girl she is as well. So yeah, if you want me to do a jersey collection video, I've got about 30-40. I'm just going to wear them and say what it is, and yeah, do a review on that. Let me know, give a thumbs up down below if you want to see that. Thank you all for watching this third installment of Mavro Monday. So, yeah, just follow me on my social medias, they'll be in the description too. And yeah, don't forget to, also if you haven't donated to my 40-hour famine page, link will be in the description too. If you haven't supported my Patreon, link will be in the description as well. And yeah, don't forget to
subscribe to Mavro Productions.